You slept 8 hours, had breakfast, maybe even coffee, and by noon, your energy is gone. Not slowly, instantly, almost like someone pulled the plug. No warning. One moment you're fine, the next you're staring at the screen, rereading the same sentence again and again. And what makes it even more confusing is this. Nothing obvious is wrong. You didn't stay up late. You didn't skip meals. You didn't run a marathon. Yet your body feels like it's asking for a break it already took. This is the kind of tired that doesn't feel dramatic enough to complain about, but it's heavy enough to change your whole day. Conversations feel harder. Decisions take longer. Even small tasks feel bigger than they should. You tell yourself you'll push through it, but deep down you're wondering, why am I always this drained? Here's the part most people miss. Chronic low energy doesn't always come from doing too much. Very often it comes from small, everyday choices that quietly train your body to feel tired. And food plays a much bigger role in that story than most people realize. A few decades ago, feeling exhausted all the time wasn't considered normal. Today it almost is. People joke about being tired. They build their routines around caffeine. They plan their day knowing there will be a crash somewhere in the middle. This shift didn't happen because humans suddenly became weaker. It happened because our environment changed faster than our biology. Food became faster, sweeter, more processed, and it started sending mixed signals to the body. We're eating more often but fueling less effectively. We're surrounded by food that looks harmless, even healthy, but behaves very differently once it's inside the body. Add constant notifications, artificial light, long hours of sitting, and mental overload, and your energy system never gets a chance to find a stable rhythm. Instead of smooth energy, you get short bursts followed by dips. And those dips don't always feel like sleepy. Sometimes they feel like lack of motivation, or brain fog, or that strange feeling of being awake but not fully present. So let's slow this down and make it simple. Energy is not just about calories. It's about timing and balance. When you eat, your body doesn't just absorb food and move on. It responds. It releases hormones that decide what happens next. One of the most important of these responses involves blood sugar. Blood sugar is not bad. It's necessary. Your brain relies on it. But how fast it rises and how fast it falls makes all the difference. When blood sugar rises gradually, energy feels steady. You can focus. You can think clearly. You don't feel rushed or heavy. When it rises too fast, the body reacts strongly to bring it back down. That reaction can overshoot, leaving you with lower energy than before you ate. Not immediately. Often an hour or two later. And that delay is what makes the connection hard to see. You don't think, that food made me tired. You think, I guess I'm just tired. Now let's talk about where this actually shows up in real life. Take flavored yogurt. It's one of the most common healthy foods people reach for, especially in the morning. It feels light. It feels responsible. It's often eaten quickly, sometimes on its own. But many flavored yogurts contain a surprising amount of added sugar. When eaten alone, especially first thing in the day, that sugar is absorbed quickly. Blood sugar rises fast. The body responds fast. At first, you might feel fine, even energized. But later, when that sugar drops, your energy drops with it. Focus fades. You feel restless or foggy. Here's the part most people miss. Because yogurt has a healthy reputation, people don't question how it affects them. They assume the tiredness came from something else. Stress, work, poor sleep, not breakfast. Another common example is white bread and refined grains. Toast in the morning, a sandwich for lunch, a bagel on the go. These foods don't taste sweet, but inside the body they act very much like sugar. They break down quickly. There's very little slowing them down. That creates the same rapid rise and fall pattern. The body gets used to fast fuel, and steady energy becomes harder to maintain. Over time, this trains the metabolism to expect quick energy, not sustained energy. And when quick energy isn't available, the body feels flat. Then there's fruit juice. Not soda, not candy, juice, something. Many people drink believing they're doing their body a favor. Whole fruit comes with fiber, which slows sugar absorption. Juice removes most of that fiber. What's left is a concentrated sugar source that hits the bloodstream quickly. Drinking juice, especially by itself, can quietly set up the same energy cycle. A brief lift followed by a drop that shows up later as fatigue or mental fog. These foods don't cause instant crashes for everyone, and that's important to say. The effect is subtle. It builds over time, and it depends on how often these foods show up and what they're paired with. What they really do is send signals. Every time blood sugar spikes, the body releases insulin to manage it. Insulin's job is to move sugar into cells. That's normal. That's healthy. But repeated spikes can make the system less sensitive. The body starts working harder to do the same job. Energy delivery becomes less efficient, and that inefficiency shows up as low energy. Here's something rarely talked about. When energy delivery is inconsistent, the brain notices first. Focus becomes harder to maintain. Motivation feels unstable. Even mood can shift slightly. You don't feel sick. You just don't feel like yourself. And because this happens gradually, people adapt to it. They normalize it. They build routines around managing tiredness instead of questioning why it's there. This is not about blame. It's about awareness. This isn't about cutting out entire food groups or following extreme rules. It's about noticing patterns, especially foods that digest very quickly and are eaten alone. It's also about paying attention to timing. How do you feel not right after eating, but 1 to 2 hours later? Clear, calm, or heavy and unfocused? Energy problems rarely announce themselves loudly. They show up as patterns. Afternoon dips, evening exhaustion, the feeling of always needing something to keep going. Small adjustments can make a big difference here. Pairing fast-digesting foods with protein or healthy fats slows absorption. That changes the signal your body receives. It creates a more gradual energy curve instead of a spike and drop. Choosing whole versions of foods, when possible, adds natural resistance to digestion. That resistance is not a bad thing. It's what steady energy feels like. Spacing meals in a way that avoids constant grazing can also help the body relearn a stable rhythm. You don't need perfection. You need consistency. If you've been feeling tired without a clear reason, it doesn't mean your body is failing you. It means your body is responding to the signals it's been given. Energy is not something you force. It's something you support. Hidden energy drains don't look dramatic. They look normal. This video is for educational purposes only and is not intended to diagnose or treat any condition. Always listen to your body and seek professional guidance for personal health concerns.